Hello and welcome to Tools in the Shed, a podcast powered by Cars Guide, ready to rip into car stuff that's caught our eye this week. I'm James, and with me is Crafty.
Hello.
Who's been thinking about the Goldilocks zone for off-road vehicles and equipment. And Matt.
Yeah, g'day.
Who's experienced a much-anticipated Korean newcomer. And will attempt to keep up with the weird and wonderful world of everyone's favourite autocrat in this week's Muskwatch. So stay with us. But first of all, some feedback. Welcome as always. Thank you very much for the people that have taken the time to get in touch with us.
Yeah.
Sujay Mysore. Okay, Sujay Mysore.
Sounds
And he has
familiar.
in brackets afterwards L.A.M.P.lamp. So
Okay.
lamp. And all he says is
Okay.
first comment, second view. Right? So that's great. But I went in to find out what lamp is.
Yeah.
And my guess, and look, correct me, Sujay, if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
is that LAMP stands for Lost Alpha Model Pack.
Oh,
all right?
wow.
So Lost Alpha is a mod for the Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl game.
Oh,
and
wow, okay.
LAMP is pretty common in the world of, those forums and
The
wherever. So
gamers.
Very foreign to me.
Sujay must be
You've
in all of
already
that.
confused
Thank you very much.
me. Yeah. Good on you, mate. Anyway,
Or
keep
he
commenting.
just
Keep watching.
likes a
Lamp. Loves a standard
I
lamp.
love lamp.
Or a bedside lamp. Yeah, with a halogen bulb. Yeah.
He's illuminated. Yes.
Greg Wallace. Thanks, Greg. Crikey, you've posted the Friday Shed chat early for us non-daylight saving fans, so I'm guessing he's from Queensland.
Yes.
But also, this aligns with the Bathurst qualifying. Sorry, but I'll catch up when the Bathurst thing is done.
Oh, Gregory,
But
come on,
I'm
mate.
looking forward to this 2020 Subaru Outback that's hitting the northern market. Details for us, please. Thumbs up.
Yeah, right.
So, 2020 Outback. Matt,
All
what's the
new.
story? Yeah, right.
All
so,
new.
Really, every
Yeah.
nut and bolt completely new. Very
If
good.
you believe Subaru, all
Right,
new.
okay. So question without notice,
Yeah.
do you have an idea of when it's due to arrive?
Believe it's January, February time next year.
Okay.
But we don't really know too much about it.
All right.
It has been launched in North America already, and strangely, no preview drives for anyone in Australia.
Okay.
Considering it's a pretty popular model,
Yeah.
bit of a surprise, but
Very popular.
hopefully it'll be here soon so we can test it on local soil and tell you all
All
about
right,
it.
Greg. Yeah, rest assured, we'll be onto it as soon as we can. Taylor Quinn. Now, we had a discussion last week about Facebook pages and about help I've binned my car in the Nasho
Yep.
and etc. He's come up with another hilarious Facebook page. Parking your Camry after a hard day of being a right lane bandit. and that's one that we looked at and forgot to actually put in, but thanks so much for the reminder, Taylor.
That's gold.
So the positioning for the page is Camry fail, Camry awareness.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
for YouTube viewers, we'll have a little bit of vision behind us. One is a meme, which is pointing to people being oblivious to their surroundings. Another, the video, if people are watching that, actually, Fairfield City Police Area Command are searching for the driver of the vehicle that's in this video.
Oh, geez. Okay.
So
okay.
it's a good one. It's a
Yeah.
parking fail, but it just happens to be a Camry. It would have ended in a bumper dent as well, which was another one, Camry bumper dent.
The old Camry dent.
Yep.
It's a prevalent thing.
So
See
that's
a lot of those
Thank you,
around,
Taylor. And Matt Murdoch. Now, another group was
Sounds like
AU Falcons doing amazing things or
Yes.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he says AU Falcon was not about drive in its day. The trick was not to look and turn back after you park it. Turn back and look at it after you park it.
True.
Which is good. And Twigda thanks us for the merchandise.
Oh,
Thanks.
good.
So
Oh,
we got
it
he got
arrived.
his merch. So
Excellent.
Excellent.
we got a thumbs up, a smiley face, and the thank you.
Oh,
the-
yeah.
the kind of
That's
prayer-
a
prayer
big
hands.
thing now.
Yeah,
I'm
good.
yet to sort of get on that
The
bandwagon.
emoji bandwagon.
That's it, yeah.
Oh, you got to get on that.
What's an emoji?
Yeah. It's not an emoticon.
Now, crafty bandwagon, the crafty bandwagon.
Yes, that's
what's on your mind? We want to talk about appropriate equipment of all kinds for
yes.
off-road.
Oh, we're diving straight into it.
Yeah.
Excellent. No, good. I've no good.
Carry on, Crafty.
Can I
Carry
walk
on.
behind the camera and have a look at my notes? No, no, I'm only kidding. I've been doing a lot of driving around, as we do. I've seen a lot of people with, and I'm a big fan of the aftermarket accessories market. Let's get that straight out there. Having been involved in it in some manner as a car reviewer for more than 20 years, 25 years.
Yep.
But some people, I think, overinflate or overestimate their idea of how much they're going to actually go off road and to what extent they're going to pursue that leisure activity. Because I see some vehicles that are kitted out and they look like they're ready for World War III of four-wheel driving.
Yes.
But they've never seen any dirt whatsoever. Now, that's fine if you buy into the lifestyle and you enjoy that sort of idea that one day you'll get enough time off work.
Yes.
Like the rest of us, that you'll actually get out and do the Simpson or do the Kenning Stock Route or something like that, Cape
Yes.
York.
Stress-Lecky track.
Exactly, yeah.
Hume Highway.
One of my favourites.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Hume Highway.
The Stress-Lecky
Track. Yeah.
And the other thing is, I've seen the flip side of that coin, where I've been out camping with mates or my family or out for work, and you'll see people who have grossly
Just a bit
underestimated what they're...
bit underdone?
Yeah, exactly,
Yes.
yeah. So
Yeah.
they've turned up and... if you're going to drive at dusk and dawn, you need some sort of frontal protection on a Bulba. They've just rocked up with nothing and managed to clip a roo and done some serious damage. Front end's messed up, and that's your trip over and
I suppose
done with.
it's almost a philosophical conversation, isn't it, about what people get out of their four-wheel drive and their four-wheel driving, such as it is.
Yeah.
In that you might just enjoy the acquisition of all this gear and the kind of aura that goes with it, and it's all about the kind of message you're sending out to the world.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I'm tough,
and we're all
I'm
guilty of
whatever.
that to some
Yeah,
extent.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
And the other, and that's absolutely fine. And I mean, also, frontal protection. We're talking about bull bars, that sort of thing. That is probably just a generally good idea if you
I've
live
just
in
got a
rural New South Wales.
Yep.
But perhaps not if you
sorry.
live in a. Perhaps not if you live in a. If the majority of your life is spent in a suburb.
Yeah.
But-
Because the impact on a pedestrian, rather than perhaps an errant kangaroo, could be disastrous.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, and it's what we all subscribe to. You buy to suit your lifestyle. We might like a hot hatch, but we got families.
Yep.
You're not going to bundle them into that, and be comfortable and safe and that sort of thing. So you buy to suit your lifestyle at the different stages of your life. So you've got to have a think about it and say, well, am I really going to go on the Canning Stock Route?
And it goes from the very beginning when you're thinking about what vehicle you might want and then what you are going to or not going to equip that vehicle with
absolutely.
from the aftermarket.
And at the same time, we're talking about, people going over the top. But a good point is you can have an adventure in anything.
Yes.
You can have a weekend trip and it be tough enough for your two-wheel drive vehicle or your all-wheel drive vehicle. Maybe you only need a cargo barrier inside in case it gets really bouncy. You don't want stuff hitting the kids in the back of the head.
Well, I mean, by reputation, just getting into the car with your craft
exactly.
is an adventure. Whatever happens next,
I've got a grandpa's right foot, old Matty Campbell. Got the heavy right foot, mate.
A little bit. Yes. You got to explore the range of the engine crafting.
That's correct. Yeah.
But I'm almost a case study for this mindset because I own a Jimny. When it was rego time, I needed new tyres. I bought all-terrains. That was a month and a half ago. Still haven't driven on dirt. I've owned the car 9 months. Still haven't driven on dirt. I've got a roof rack. It's never had anything in it. It's got a roof basket. Empty all the time. So I'm sort of the case study for this. I want that car to look a certain way and to have the potential for adventure.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to do a few more things. I'm looking at different front bar, different rear bar, different lights, that sort of stuff. And I want it to be a certain car for me, even though I'm probably never going to go serious off-roading because I don't want to break it.
No, I wonder if the variation on that theme is someone comes up to rego time and they do the tyre swap or whatever, they get some all-terrain tyres and that's just the button that's pushed and they go, and they actually do head off-road and start to kind of go down that path.
Yeah, and the Jimny doesn't need a lot to. Well, it doesn't need anything. I mean, as we've shown in our driving straight out of the car yard videos, it doesn't need a lot. But yesterday I saw you talking about a Jimny. I saw a brand new Jimny. Must have only just collected it, but it had a roof basket on. Like, it looked really top heavy. I think he went overboard. I think he got a roof basket for an Iveco Daily or something. It looked like it seemed really top heavy.
Yes.
And he had a lift, and he had sort of very aggressive. I think they were all terrains. It was going past in traffic, so I didn't quite. But I mean, maybe maybe it looked brand new because it was, and he's going to take it on some hardcore stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you buy to suit your lifestyle, and fair enough. I mean, you've made some cluey purchases with that, and maybe you'll get a chance. Maybe Cars Guide will let you have a couple of minutes off work, and you can actually go for a drive.
If that person's listening or watching, just get in touch. Let us know what all that's about. You've probably noticed
that
Crafty.
was one heavy roof basket. Yeah,
oh, right.
That was
one-off.
pretty heavy. Yeah. I think that was fabricated in heavy steel.
But also the number of people you see in, like, I live in inner Western Sydney, 3 kilometres from the city.
Yeah.
I see a lot of SUVs with rooftop tents permanently attached to the car.
Big boxy things too,
those,
which bump up your fuel consumption if you're just spending it as a daily driver.
Yeah, they're heavy. They're not aerodynamic. No, you don't need them on all the time. And the thing is, you can save litres per 100
for sure.
by not having all this stuff on your car.
Yeah.
People probably don't have anywhere to put them.
That's a good point.
It just lives on the car because that's the easiest place to have it.
Yeah, fair enough.
And also big gnarly off-road tyres like mud terrains on a vehicle that's spending the lion's share of its time in a city. And also I've seen them underinflated. So you just...
And can't you hear them coming? And you just... All I think is that's going to be costing some fuel.
And again, fuel consumption straight away. And you whack a heavy rooftop tent on top. And you've got a recipe for
So really
the
moral of this story is a little bit of forethought will end up in optimal enjoyment.
Yeah.
So, okay, fair enough.
Buy it to suit your lifestyle and kit it out to suit your lifestyle.
Unless the pleasure that you derive from all of that is the image that you're sending out there.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, when you're on that track and you decide to have a crack at that little hill just because you think you can, and wish I'd had that four-wheel drive. I wish I had a diff lock here because I've overstepped the mark.
Yeah.
So it pays
preparation.
to be...
No, absolutely. Preparation is a massive thing. If anyone's taking a trip of any length, just making sure you're prepared for that terrain and that destination and that sort of... It doesn't have to be gnarly Cape York conquering stuff. It can be stuff that suits where you're going.
It might be the catalyst for a story where we just look at, for this level of driving, this is the kind of vehicle spec and
sort
this
of
is the stuff you need.
Scale it to suit your adventure. We have touched on those sort of things on Cars Guide, so... Yeah, no, absolutely.
And we'd love to see anyone's cars and their mods to them. Let us know. Send us an email at comments@carsguide.com.au. We'd love to see what you've spent your money on, invested in, and
that's it. No, absolutely.
I always love seeing different four-wheel drive mods.
Well, again, we're all guilty. Like I love gear. I love new gear. I love research.
You can see just the way you dress today.
You
love the new gear.
70-year-old flannelette shirt that I stole off a homeless bloke. But otherwise, new gear. So, you know what I mean. And you love researching it. Yeah. And people with vehicles, it's a big purchase. I mean, it's a massive purchase.
Yes.
So you want to research it. And all the accessories, you want to really research those as well and buy cleverly and...
Good.
Get stuck into it.
Good chat. Terrific. Thank you, Crafty. Now, we're going to move on to you, Matt.
Yes.
And you've been at a new product launch during the week, and it's a significant one. There's been a lot of interest prior to this car's launch. Fill us in.
Kia Seltos. So, small...
So what was that name again?
Seltos.
Why does it always make me think of some kind of condiment? Past the Seltos?
What's the Seltos?
Like, you just want the
sounds
salt
like a kind
and
of
pepper
aspirin or something.
Maybe.
Apparently,
that's good.
Seltos.
Apparently, it's Hercules' son.
Oh, really?
Seltos. But spelt with
an antacid tablet.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's spelt with a C traditionally, but they've gone with because Kia's SUV range all start with S. It starts with S.
All right. Yeah.
I think it's a silly name, but I think it's a really good car.
Okay, cool.
Little compact SUV, so it sits in below the Sportage model, but it's one of those SUVs that actually pushes towards outside edges of small. It's almost a mid-size SUV in traditional terms, although these brackets are constantly moving, and we always say people don't think about small SUVs or medium SUVs anymore. They just think, I want one that's city-friendly or I want one that's got 7 seats.
Yeah.
So this sort of car, it's a city-friendly sized SUV, about the same size as a Nissan Qashqai or a Mitsubishi ASX. So it's not one of those tiny, tiny little SUVs that we've seen. But it's petrol only, no diesel, no hybrid, no plug-in hybrid, no manual. So you've got the choice of front-wheel drive automatic or all-wheel drive with a dual-clutch automatic.
Okay.
So that's all the market really wants, and the price tags start at $25,990 drive away up to $41,990 drive away. So a fair spread of pricing.
There is.
At that top end, you can get into some really good mid-sized SUVs for $42,000.
Yeah.
Would that be an overlap with the start of the Sportage? I presume
it's actually a lot lower the overlap. So it's the base model at $25,990 drive away. You can currently get base model Sportages at $29,990 drive away. So there's quite a bit of overlap. And in terms of size, it's only about 55 centimetres longer. So 50
you were
mil.
saying before, it's only
not much in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I hope I've got that figure right. But there's not much in it. That indicates to me that the next generation Sportage is going to be a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Is its Hyundai Twin the Venue?
No.
They're not related at all.
Its Hyundai Twin is the Kona, but the Kona is a lot smaller.
Smaller, yeah.
It's about 15 centimetres shorter.
Okay.
So it's a weird sort of mix. I think it sort of feels to me like Kia's got this car because it's the right fit for so many people, but there's still a gap below it. There's still a spot where they could fill it with a venue-sized
equivalent.
SUV.
Yes.
A 4.1 metre long rather than a 4.4-ish.
Yeah.
And those
what about a
centimetres...
4.25?
Well...
Then we'll get to a 4.18.
No, that's just ridiculous.
There are those gaps. That's the problem.
The gaps.
This segment... those 5 to 10 or 15 centimetres can be the difference between it being right for you or not. If you're a city dweller like me,
for sure.
If I'm thinking about a small SUV, maybe the Seltos is just a little bit too big because it is more towards the mid-size. And it feels substantial on the road. It feels quite good on the road generally. And it's the first time we've seen a CVT automatic transmission from Kia in the entry-level versions with the front-wheel drive.
Do they do a good one? Because
how does it go?
It's a good one. CVT is good.
It's a good one. It's got Atkinson cycle 2-litre engine with the CVT. It's got that thing that all the brands seem to be doing now is putting in those stepped feel to the
try
ratios.
And simulate
and it works. From my test drive in Queensland, it felt like it was pretty good for the most part. Didn't get to spend as much time around town as I would have liked. But
what about in the car, though?
I missed out on that. Noosa was great.
They hoped you
spend
didn't
his whole
spend
time on the
as
beach.
much time around town.
Just oiling himself up on the beach.
There was that
usual.
too.
Yeah.
The thing with it, I guess, will be when we get a few more through the garage here, we'll be able to tell you a bit more about how they behave in an urban environment. And obviously, we'll aim to put one in a comparison at some point. And it's one of those, but I do think small SUVs is it's one of the busiest parts of the market at the moment.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's just constant activity there.
Yep.
And some of the older models out there, like the ASX, which is going to be updated for 2020 very soon, with a facelift again, some more tech again, all these changes. And then there's the Qashqai, which has been around for a long time, and it still sells really well.
So I suppose when you're Kia and you're spinning all these plates, you've got a bazillion models and you're trying to keep them all competitive, ultimately, you've got to put a lot of your focus in one particular area.
Yep.
It sounds like this is their area of focus, and they're not alone.
Yeah.
Everybody's pumping big investment and research and development dollars into these cars.
Yeah, exactly. And it sort of made me think that Hyundai, the sister brand to Kia, has the Venue and the Kona, both of which are still both considerably smaller than this Seltos.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got the gap to the Tucson. So there's almost a spot in that range
just fill
to plug as well.
Yep.
It's just crazy that there's so much activity in this small part of the market. I mean, we all realise that they're actually, for the most part, just hatchbacks that are with a boxy body.
But I suppose you fish where the fish are.
Yeah.
And if this is the kind of car that people are really tuning into, you just got to take advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's I think Kia's done a really good job of, for the most part, the specking of the cars. I mean, someone on the YouTube channel commented that it used to be that no matter which spec of Kia you bought, you got really good equipment levels. That's not the case anymore. In the entry-level model, it feels like you're buying a fleet special car.
Okay.
And that's not to say that it feels bad. It's just that it could feel better. There's a few things missing. Things like soft elbow pads on the doors.
Jeez, that's a bugbear of mine, I've got to say.
Yeah.
Because I do tend to be a bit of an elbow rester.
Yeah, so
on the driver's side on the door. And it's immediately apparent if you're going to be comfortable or not. It's a bit of a make or break for a car. It sounds like such a small thing, but if I'm going to be driving this car regularly, I want to be comfortable driving.
Exactly. And one of my other pet peeves, anyone who's listened to me talk about cars will know that I think that LED headlights and daytime running lights are important.
I love the lights, mate.
I do love the lights. I'm illuminated. Only the top spec gets LEDs in the Seltos range.
Right.
The rest of them have halogens. Now, and it's that dull yellow
from
halogen look that you watch a movie that's talking about the 1920s and that's the same light they used then.
I think I may be wrong, but I think it was Jerry McGovern from JLA that said lights and screens are the new chrome. From a design and styling point of view, what you can do with those lights to jazz up a car and make it an arresting look, and screens on the inside that dazzle you.
Yep.
That's what it's all about.
I will say this though, I'd prefer all halogen or all LED than a mix of halogen and LED.
Agree.
Do you think car manufacturers, are they just trying to push people to the top end, to the top spec end of the range, or are they trying to cover all bases? Or
I think it's a mix. I think obviously there's going to be people out there who just want the best one. Yeah. They want the best looking one.
Yeah, so you're going to go straight for the...
It's got the biggest wheels. It's got the best lights. It's got the coolest sort of features. It's got the two-tone roof. None of the other models get the two-tone roof or the sunroof. Yeah. And so, I think that they're bang on with that. There are people out there who will just go, I just want the best looking one.
Yeah. I think it'd be rare, Crafty, to find a car salesperson that has a customer in the showroom that's saying, yeah, I'm loving that top shelf car. And I say, well, that's good. I'm glad you like that. But we have this cheaper one over here.
Go for this real cheap one.
Yeah.
I knew as I was asking that, how naive it sounds. But, it can be, they're trying to supply the fleet buying market, they're trying to cover that off, and then they're trying to cover maybe the parents who are buying their kids a mid-range sort of thing, and then they're covering professionals who live and work in a city and they want that top spec model.
Sure.
I don't know. It's a busy segment, eh?
Well, in that kind of segment,
them around,
you do need a price leader.
Yeah.
Cynics would call it a bait and switch. Get people to come in on the basis of a certain price point.
Yeah.
It's a fairly povo kind of spec. And then the walk up happens rather rapidly.
Yeah. Save your elbows and look at this one over here.
This one over here.
Yeah, it's only bloody 15 grand more, whatever.
It's very soft. I like this car, yes.
Oh, your elbows love it.
My elbow's loving it. All right, well, thank you, Matt. And we're going to be seeing chapter and verse on that on the site very shortly.
It's
already there.
It's there.
Fantastic.
It's there. You can watch the video.
Very good.
Tell us what you think.
Now we're going to make a subtle shift to our garage and what's been residing in it during the week. Crafty, Old Faithful. It's your own beastie.
It is. Yeah.
Fill us in on recent developments with your Navara.
The old Navara. Yeah. Well, it's still running.
Good.
That's always good.
That's a great sign.
Still as gutless as ever.
No, what about the Navara? Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I went off topic there. I've been off road with it quite a bit. Now I don't know whether viewers / listeners are familiar with. I bought it off a mate of mine who's an award-winning photographer. Chased around a lot of fires, so it's been touch parked in the bush quite a lot.
Is he still a mate of yours after you purchased it?
No,
that's it.
Haven't spoken to him since.
Exactly. Yeah. No, he still is. But so So the appeal of this thing was that it was already beaten up like an old journeyman boxer. So I haven't
You're not going to be too worried about it.
No, I haven't really looked after it in an off-road sense. I've gone on some pretty gnarly stuff. We've been on some rock steps out my way in the Jimny and the Wrangler. I think the Wrangler Overland, one set of rock steps that we took it.
Yep.
It's been up and down those things. And it's not a heavily modified vehicle. Just tyres, really.
But has it surprised you in terms of its abilities, or has it been a letdown at various times?
No,
you thought it would be better?
No, it always surprises me, but it really comes down to being patient when you're driving. Like a lot of off-roading, people with beards and sort of, like to fancy themselves as off-road warriors.
Yeah.
It's really just about driving slowly and taking your time.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's no real magic to it.
People with beards.
Yeah. Well, big
bush
lustrous
rangers.
Ranger beards. Yeah. They'd like you to think that it involves a whole bunch of sort of black magic, but it's not. It's really about driving slowly and looking after your vehicle. Because if you've spent a lot of money on your vehicle, which I haven't, you don't want to be doing sort of arbitrary panel damage when you go out on the weekend. And
what year model are we talking, Crafty?
2009.
2009. So it's having its 10th birthday. You had some small celebration, did you?
Yeah, just like
gave it some oil.
I will for Matty Campbell.
Yeah, some coolant.
You sure it's 2009? It looked like a 99 to me. It was rough. Poor old thing.
Booyah! Yes.
Well, that fits the bill. If you're not going to be worried about it, that's good. It's aged disgracefully.
It has very disgraceful.
A bit like Crafty.
Oh, jeez. But fair. All right. Not even harsh. Just fair.
So is there anything that you feel needs, notwithstanding the fact that you just said you don't throw a lot at it, but is there anything that you think in the back of your mind, it does need that?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a bit of a lift. Just a 2-inch or something like that, just to get it up a little bit.
And how will that be achieved on the Navara? What's the easiest way to get that lift done?
A pair of stilts off of a street performer.
Do you keep the fake trousers as well?
That's correct. Yeah. No, I'll see. I'll see if I've got the dosh. I'll see whether the Cars Guide sling me some dosh. But well, Elon Musk wants to bring me as a consultant.
Speaking of
on your way to
speaking of dreaming, you've been looking at and driving a car that we mentioned just a couple of minutes ago.
Yes.
So it's a Hyundai this time.
Yes.
And the smallish one.
Yeah, the Hyundai Venue.
Oh, the Venue.
So living that small SUV lifestyle.
Hashtag lifestyle SUV.
I proved that it can be a family SUV. It is a very, very small car, but my family consists of me, my partner, and our 2 little dogs.
2 dogs.
And that's what some families consist of these days.
Exactly.
So that's
a lot of families.
It fits the bill for that. Really good little car. I took it down the coast for a weekend away. We're meeting up with some mates down there and stayed down there. And the dogs were happy. I mean, one of them is prone to car sickness, so we had to make sure he didn't leave his brekkie on the back seat.
But he didn't.
No.
Oh, cool.
No, he was comfortable. Actually, he was actually the happiest I've ever seen him in the back.
So he's the canine canary in the coal mine. For motion sickness.
Mate, when I put him in the Jimny, he was shaking like a leaf. It was a worry. Yeah. So
he was intimidated by the sheer machismo of the Jimny.
The brute
force. The brute force.
So, but it was Venue. Good little thing. You'll see it in a comparison test that we had last week. It's coming up very soon, that test, and up against the likes of the Mazda CX-3.
Yep.
And what was the other one that was in there?
Some other tiny thing.
There's another small car.
Suzuki
Suzuki Vitara.
Very good.
Yeah.
And what resides under the bonnet?
An engine.
Yeah.
Okay, let's leave it at that. That's great.
Yeah, petrol engine.
Engine. Fantastic.
Yeah, with a gearbox.
With a gearbox as well.
Is it petrol only on those things?
Yeah, on the Venue, it is.
Okay,
it's a 1.6, I think, and 4-cylinder. It's not a lot of power. It's not a lot of torque.
Yeah, but enough for that thing.
Yeah.
Throw the dogs back into the...
off their feet.
You know what? One thing I noticed about it's got a really touchy throttle, and I think that Hyundais tend to have this touchy throttle thing.
Build it into it.
It makes you think that it's got more zest than it actually does.
It's an option. Haven't you seen that on the option list? Touchy throttle. You
Zesty-
just have to
throttle.
tick that. A zesty throttle. No, I think
I'll have
that's,
that, thanks.
You
I
could
think
sell
that's
that.
the Kia equivalent.
Yeah.
You go Hyundai's touchy throttle and a zesty throttle.
Oh,
There you
okay.
go.
Sorry, got it wrong. I'm just curious to know, just onto dogs. How do you stop them? Do you just crack the windows down, give them a bit of fresh air, or do you drive a little bit less aggressively than you're known to?
I don't usually drive aggressively.
No, I don't.
No, the
He's
trick.
got little 5-point harnoses for the dogs.
Yeah,
So
they
they're
got
properly strapped in.
Yeah, you got the proper restraints, and
Yes.
or you just
Yes, I do.
sort of cable tie them to the seatbelt
No, we have little harnesses where you can feed the seatbelt through the loops on top of it.
Back or,
So, if you've never seen the crash test dog dummy video,
Not pretty.
I suggest you have a look at it on YouTube because it gives you an idea of how much damage your dog could sustain, how much damage you could sustain as a result of your dog flying through the cabin. So we always restrain our dogs in the back seat, and they travel quite well as a result of that. I make sure that I don't feed them before we go anywhere because we've had a breakfast incident before. And I also make sure that we stop every hour and a half or 2 hours and keep the windows down, up, get the air circulating.
Do you know current thinking on why dogs enjoy sticking their head out the window so much is not that they're fascinated with everything that's going by, although they might be interested. It's the smells. It's like supercharging the smells that are going into their nostrils. So dogs with such a sensitive sense of smell, for them it's like, oh my God, wow, what was that?
Like a mind
it's just
rush.
this kind of
like
overload
a complete
of
head rush.
of smells,
I'm only asking again for our viewers and listeners because I've got two older dogs, two sort of medium-sized rescue dogs. They generally ride in the tray, but that's only for short distances. But obviously proper restraints and everything. But one time we had one of them in the cabin, and he did yak all over, and it was that
nasty.
And you know me, I don't drive aggressively. I'm the slowest bloke around, but he fully, and that took me ages to clean it. Luckily, it wasn't a press vehicle, so luckily it was one of ours.
Was it Old Faithful?
No, it wasn't the Ute. It was our Yaris.
Oh, dear.
Oh,
my
boy. God.
All right.
Everything.
I'll just quickly touch on the car that I've been driving this week. It's a Volvo V90 cross country. So in other
Did
markets,
you go cross country anywhere? Or?
Look, if we're in a country, I went from A to B, so I suppose I went cross country.
Nice one. Well done.
And in other markets, there's a normal V90 wagon. This one's lifted, got some little over fenders, and it's got that cross country Volvo look to it.
Looks great.
It's twin turbo diesel. It's the D5 engine that's been around with Volvo for some time, and I've got to say, you certainly know it's there from startup. It's apparent. Oh, hello, it's a diesel. Put it that way. And it's an 8-speed auto, all-wheel drive, naturally, with the cross-country thing, but sits on big 19-inch rims, so it looks pretty aggressive and macho and what have you. But I think it's beautiful. A subjective call, I think.
Wow.
Volvo's styling and design at the moment is in a bit of a purple patch. Really lovely-looking car. Others may have a different view. Lots of safety, no surprise, from Volvo, and a lot of thought for practicality. I love a wagon for a start. But, for example, rather than having a complicated retention system in the back or having to break out the stretchy luggage net, there's just a little flip-up board near the back of the load space with some elasticized bands on it. So if you've got some small packages, you just flip that up, put them in there, put the bands around, and they stay put.
Oh, nice.
It's absolutely terrific.
Cool.
And little bag hooks everywhere. You're thinking, whoever thought this through was thinking about how
lives
how
a
people
real
live
life.
lives
a real life.
Really good. So loud. Little bit bumpy. I found the suspension was picking up a lot of the small irregularities around the place. The seats initially felt like a couple of house bricks had just been put in there. Gee, this is firm. Boy, are they comfortable.
Really?
So, the magic trick
sort
of
of
this,
moulds to you as you spend a bit more time.
It feels firm. All I'm saying is it feels firm when you get in it. But, boy, after a long time behind the wheel, you're still going super comfy. So, $81,000 odd it's
a lot of money
before you put it on the road. So it's not a cheap car.
Isn't it? Yeah, a lot of dosh.
Yeah, so
and good for stop-start stuff. Like, how did you find
definitely
the twin turbo?
Fine. I mean, it has a really nice, a healthy amount of torque, 480 newton meters. So power is 173. So it's not the most powerful car, but the torque is there and really usable. So as an around towner, 5-seater. Very enjoyable.
Very niche, though. It's a shame, isn't it? Because wagons are so niche. I mean, when you look at, you can get a XC90 for similar-ish money, like a 7-seat SUV.
Yeah.
You can see why people will go, oh, well, I'll get that one.
I think we were having the conversation. Volvo has such a history with wagons.
Yeah.
They do them very well, and they probably have a devoted group of people that just want to have a Volvo wagon as opposed to
get
an
in
SUV
and out of
or
one
a
of
sedan.
get into a new one when it comes out. And waits for
I think the loyalty factor serves the Volvo wagon well.
Yeah.
So,
but they do it well. So that's
it was an enjoyable week in that
good.
car, despite a few little foibles. It was an enjoyable car to drive.
Well, and your yarn on carsguide.com.
There will be. Yes, thank you very much.
I look
for
forward
that
to reading
Coffee.
it.
Yeah. Now, speaking of foibles, it's time for Musquatch. All right. Now, first of all, we're going to start off with moon refueling. Okay, so
moon
refueling.
Okay, gotcha.
So according to Science Alert, tip of the hat to them, SpaceX CEO Elon Musk is well aware of a potentially fatal flaw in the company's plan to use a moon base as a refueling station, but he's still hopeful they'll find the carbon needed to create fuel if they dig deep enough. So Elon is basically saying he's going to mine the moon for carbon, create a refueling station there so that you can then spin off to Mars or wherever you're going. So the benefit being you have a lighter lift-off weight from Earth, so you don't need to carry all the fuel. You just hop up to the moon, then you load up with all your fuel, and you've got the next to no atmosphere there, and you just blaze away off to Mars from the moon. So Elon on Twitter said, look, big challenge for Starship refueling on the moon is finding sources of carbon. And this is the person who's trying to take carbon out of the equation, which I found slightly ironic. Probably some pretty big deposits in craters from meteorites. Same goes for hydrogen and oxygen, also in shadowed craters. So there's probably some there.
Yeah, okay.
So it sounds a bit hit and miss to me.
I'm, call me easily scared, but I'm a bit worried about someone mining the moon.
Like, the question came up: who owns the moon?
Yeah.
Who gets the right? I suppose it's first in, best dressed. You know, you get there, you start mining the carbon.
Imagine if
yours.
you turn up though, and it's like a servo. Like there's some guy in a grotty shirt. Tyres all right, mate. Going all right.
John Blue on Twitter said,
"Hot dog."
Even if we quote find unquote what is needed, I can't imagine manpower and process to get all done and ready to be used as fuel. It's easy on Earth, but on the moon and other places, everything simple we take for granted is super hard. Just logistics alone to get this done looks super hard to me, and I can only agree with him.
Yeah,
looks impossible to me.
Yeah,
you dream big, and then you just backfill and make it happen.
Yeah,
shoot for the moon and land,
and then drill the hell out of it.
This person's Twitter handle: warning, do not follow, you will be blocked. Says, just smash a large tungsten rod from space into a crater in the moon. Yeah. A moon-dry volcano explodes up carbon in cubic tons.
There you go.
No fallout. Wow. And all I could think is, this is why the human race can't have nice things. No. Because you just... We wreck it. We wreck things.
We wreck it.
Man.
Don't want to wreck the universe.
So the refueling has struck a bit of a snag, but we'll see what transpires there.
Okay.
Also big news, of course, we're waiting on tenterhooks for the pickup, the Tesla pickup.
Yep.
And Teslarati, in fact, Simon Alvarez, writing for Teslarati, has said that the Cyberpunk Tesla pickup truck has received its latest render from the electric car community. And those on YouTube will see this render up behind us.
Yeah.
This time around, the concept image might actually be pretty close to the vehicle that is set to be unveiled next month, being November 2019. This is due to the render being based on Elon Musk's comparisons between the Tesla Cybertruck and an armoured personnel carrier, as well as early vehicle sketches that were shared almost 2 years ago. We must give a credit to Stephen William Mason. He's the person who has created this render, and it will be up behind us. Elon Musk mentioned of the Tesla pickup being large enough to fit people as large as the famous wrestler Andre the Giant.
Wow.
Also seems plausible with the rendered pickup truck design expected to be unveiled sometime next month, maybe, which is November. So we'll see. Because the first one looked like some kind of prehistoric dinosaur. It had this massive kind of head Stegosaurus-style thing coming back off the cabin, which was shown when he unveiled the semi-trailer, the big truck. It's going to be fascinating to see what that thing is. Also, on Twitter, Elon has said, anyone who's interested in working on cutting-edge manufacturing, designing and building the machine that makes the machine, please consider working at Tesla or SpaceX. We're going to take this to a whole new level.
Wow.
All right, so...
Have you sent your CV?
There were a lot of responses. There were a lot of keenness in response to that particular message. Ex-Auto World, Iqtidar Ali has said, are you talking about the giant unibody casting machine for the Model Y Tesla, which is the next SUV smaller than Model X, I think. So Tesla has wisely and quietly, this is according to Ex-Auto World, made arrangements to shut up all the critics on its production capabilities once and for all.
Right.
Tesla Inc., this was in July, obtained the patent for a giant machine that will create the entire body frame of a car in a single press. Yes, it is called the multi-directional unibody casting machine. Right. And we'll have some images around of this machine. Yeah. And bear in mind that Elon said, anyone who's interested in working on, designing and building. So these patents might be there, but they ain't
making it happen is a different story.
That's right.
Haven't saw it yet.
So Elon's Lost Truths, commenting back to this whole thing, said, after you leave, yes. So anyone who's interested in coming aboard. The share price, we're at $259.75, which is actually, it was $244 last week.
A tickle
so
up.
a roughly $15 rise. And Barron's has come up with a theory that said, Tesla claims it delivered 97,000 vehicles for the quarter ending September, including 79,600 Model 3s, total of 17,400 Model S and X in that third quarter. Wall Street was looking for more. It was looking for a total close to 100,000 cars. So the possibility is there was a market overreaction to that, and the stock was sold down, and now it's come back out, and it's actually on a bit of a run. So this lift in its share price may be something to watch because people overreacted to the lesser number.
I'm going to hold on to my 1
You want to
million,
hold
Tesla
or buy,
shares.
hold or sell?
I think I'll hold, mate, for now. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Well,
with
Matty Campbell's got about 4 million Tesla.
I'm selling.
He's also in cryptocurrency. He's a lunatic.
Yeah, that's right. Bitcoin, whatever that is.
Okay, with that, we have reached the finish line. Thank you, Crafty.
Thank you.
And thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
And thanks, as always, to Mr. Pritchard for his production prowess. To celebrate spring, he's opted for the retro Palm Springs pool party aesthetic.
I like that, I like that. He's wearing that fetching...
I love the gold leaf flip-flops there, Mr. Pritchard.
I like the way he's done the sarong in his hair this time around.
That's right.
Oh, it's amazing.
Incredible. The light catches it from behind. Quite spectacular.
Please pass on the word about the podcast and let us know your thoughts by searching for Cars Guide on Facebook and Instagram using the hashtag CGPodcast, or email us at comments@carsguide.com.au. If you're an iTunes listener, please rate and review us. And remember, you can watch us on YouTube. Until next week, motorcycle cop pulls alongside a speeding car on the freeway. Glancing into the car, he's astonished to see the elderly woman driver is knitting. Realising she's oblivious to his flashing lights and siren, the policeman moves over to tap on the driver's window and yell, "Pull over!" "No," the woman yells back, "it's a scarf."
I knew where it was going as soon as he said pull over.
Nice one. They just keep getting better.
Better.
They just keep getting better.
Big finish.
Can't believe it.